Thanks to everyone for joining us. The Krishna Lite Show coming to you from Spanish-Fork, Utah. This is our 19th episode. What we're doing is we're working through the book Great Transcendental Adventure by Korma, which details the experiences of founding Krishna consciousness in Australia in 1970-1975. That's a big part of my wife, Vaibhavi, and I's story, how we landed in Krishna consciousness over 50 years ago, what occupied us the first 5 years of our Krishna consciousness experience. We include little rap shows in the intervals also so I can keep sharp for when, nobody knows, the mass gatherings and festivals of colors will resume, probably not until the spring of 2021. We had scheduled our Festival of Colors for earlier this year in March. We had to postpone it until September, and then we again postponed it until next March 2021. That's where we stand right now, but in the meantime, I am bound and determined to stay sharp because this is what I can bring to the stage for these festivals. This is a song by MC Yogi from an album called Rock On Hanuman. Our practice is bhakti, which is the yoga of love and devotion, and means focusing all of your resources, all of your abilities, and all of your energies to put God first place. God is known variously as Krishna or Rama. So this is a song by one of the greatest bhaktas of Ram, as described in the great epic, the Ramayana. Let's go. Start it off here. Krishna Lite Show, number 19. Hanuman Ji, son of the wind, lord of the monkeys, Rama's best friend. You eliminate illusion and you destroy all sin. You're known as Shiva's incarnation. Champion of truth with the thunderbolt body, the mighty monkey god who embodies bhakti, you're the breath of Shakti, and you achieve victory like the movie Rocky. You carry a club to smash the thugs. You're the perfect servant, the face of grace, and your heart is pure. And you make the whole demon race tremble when you roar. In the service of the Lord, you're the mighty monkey warrior, also known as the demon destroyer. Your compassion in action, devotion in motion, with the strength to leap the length of the ocean. Jai Hanuman. Hanuman Ji, you have the power. Make yourself small as a cat, tall as a tower. You devour lust, ignorance, envy, and greed. You succeed and never cower in the hour of need. You left Lanka to reassure Sita, and don't worry about a thing, because Rama's going to free you. You burned down Lanka when your tail was on fire, and to serve Lord Ram is your only desire. When Ram's little brother was about to die, without a second thought, you began to fly, searching for a cure high in the Himalayas. And when you weren't sure which herb to take him, homie, you brought the whole mountain back with one hand. That's why, Hanuman, you're Rama's best friend. You embody bhakti, the yoga of love, and that's why Rama gave you a great big old hug. Jai Ram, Jai Ram. You're the mighty monkey warrior of the epic Ramayana, repeating Ram's names, the holy Ram Nam, singing kirtan with the cymbals in your hand, going on and on like a one-man band, singing Jai Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram, rocking on and on until the break of dawn, singing Jai Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram, rocking on and on until the break of dawn. And we might well imagine Hanuman speaking this prayer to Lord Ram, asking for full engagement in his service. Ram, take my life and let it be consecrated to thee. Take my moments and my days, let them flow in ceaseless praise. Take my hands and let them move at the impulse of thy love. Take my feet, let them be swift and beautiful for thee. Take my lips and let them sing, always only for my King. Take my mouth and let it be filled with messages from thee. Take my silver and my gold, not a mite would I withhold. Take my intellect, use every power as thou shalt choose. Take my will and make it thine, it shall be no longer mine. Take my heart, it is thine own, it shall be thy royal throne. Take my love, my Lord, I pour at thy feet its treasure store. Take myself and I will be ever only all for thee. Jai Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Jai Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram, rocking on and on until the break of dawn. You're the mighty monkey warrior of the epic Ramayana, repeating Ram's names, the holy Ram Nam, Singing kirtan with the cymbals in your hand, going on and on like a one-man band. Singing Jai Ram, Si Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Rocking on and on until the break of dawn. Singing Jai Ram, Si Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Rocking on and on until the break of dawn. Another prayer from Hanuman, the greatest bhakta, to Ram, his master and Lord. Ram, long did I toil and found no earthly rest. Far did I roam and found no certain home. Until at last I sought them in Ram's sheltering breast, who opens his arms and bids the weary come. With Ram I found a home, a rest divine, and I since then am his and he is mine. With Ram as friend I'm rich with nothing beside, and poor without Ram though of all possessed. Changes may come, I take or I resign, content while I am Ram's, and Ram is mine. Jai Ram, Si Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Changes may come, but in Ram no change is seen. Ram is like a glorious sun that wanes not nor declines. Ram walks above the clouds in storms serene, and on his devotees inward darkness shines. Jai Ram, Si Ram, Jai Jai Ram. While here, alas, I know but half Ram's love, but half discern him and but half adore. But when I meet Ram in the realms above, I hope to love him fully, praise him more, and show and tell amid the kirtans divine how fully I am his and he is mine. Jai Ram, Si Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Rocking on and on until the break of dawn, singing Jai Ram, Si Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Rocking on and on until the break of dawn. Hanuman Ji, son of the wind, lord of the monkeys, Rama's best friend. You eliminate illusion and destroy all sin, and you're known as Shiva's incarnation. Champion of truth with the thunderbolt body, the mighty monkey god who embodies bhakti. You're the breath of Shakti and you achieve victory like the movie Rocky. You carry a club to smash the thugs. You're the perfect servant, the face of grace, and your heart is pure. You make the whole demon race tremble when you roar. In the service of the Lord, you're the demon destroyer, also known as the mighty monkey warrior. You're compassion in action, devotion in motion, with the strength to leap the length of the ocean. Hanuman Ji, you have the power, make yourself small as a cat or tall as a tower. You devour lust, ignorance, envy, and greed. You succeed and never cower in the hour of need. You left Alanka to reassure Sita, don't worry about a thing, because Rama's going to free you. You burned down Lanka when your tail was on fire. You serve Lord Ram as your only desire. Jai Ram, Si Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Rocking on and on until the break of dawn. You're the mighty monkey warrior of the epic Ramayana, repeating Ram's names, the holy Ram Nam. Singing kirtan with the cymbals in your hand, going on and on like a one-man band. Singing Jai Ram, Si Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Rocking on and on until the break of dawn, singing Jai Ram, Si Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Rocking on and on until the break of dawn, singing Jai Ram, Si Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Rocking on and on until the break of dawn. That was from an album by MC Yogi called Rock On Hanuman. Start our show off today. We'll have a couple more rap songs as we proceed through here. But I want to tell you about a great soul that came to Australia to show us how to do book distribution. Book distribution is very dear to our spiritual master's heart. He was nothing pleased him more than to see lots and lots of his books go out. So we had big stacks of book in the warehouse, gathering dust. We didn't know what to do with them until such time as Buddhimanta came from America to show us how to distribute books. So from Korma's book, The Great Transcendental Adventure, when Madhavisa Swami returned to Australia after accompanying Srila Prabhupada to Auckland, he heard the latest news. The sleeping giant had awoken. Buddhimanta had gone into the book storage shed in the backyard, seen colossal stacks of books, and made a firm vow. All these books will be distributed in 3 months. How was it possible? Devotees had sometimes pondered the ceiling-high stacks of paperback nectar devotions, hardbound Krishna books, and teachings of Lord Chaitanya. They had started arriving over a year and a half ago in the latter part of 1972. A few boxes had been opened. Some devotees had taken personal copies to read. Others had cut out pictures and stuck them on the walls. A leaking roof had caused rain damage for a few other boxes, and the rest had stayed, gathering dust. The temple leaders had wondered what were they going to do with all these books. When they heard that Buddhimanta had the answer, they listened to his story with interest. Buddhimanta explained that a similar scenario had existed in America not too long before. What to do with all the books had seemed a mystery until one day a couple of devotees had made an accidental discovery. After chanting downtown in San Francisco, they had pulled up at a service station for petrol. When the attendant had asked for payment, the devotees had shown him a Krishna book. After describing the glories of the book, the man had agreed to accept the book as payment for the petrol. Inspired by the success, devotees, including Buddhimanta, had tried to sell the hardcover books on the street and door to door, and had found that people were indeed interested to take them. Soon Buddhimanta was selling books, 5 books a day, and the news spread throughout the west coast of America. Since then, book distribution in America had increased in great strides. Within months, temples in America were selling hundreds of Krishna books every week. When Srila Prabhupada heard the news, he was greatly delightful, and he had written to Keshava, the king of Krishna book distribution, who was the president in the San Francisco temple, and Prabhupada wrote, "By distributing my books profusely, you are giving me great encouragement to translate, and you're all helping me to fulfill the order which Guru Maharaj gave me. So I am so much grateful to you, and I'm sure Krishna will bless you 1,000,000 times over for doing this work," end quote. Copies of his letter had gone out to all the ISKCON Krishna temples, including Sydney, and on the advice of the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, Mohanananda had ordered books and they had arrived in the thousands. But the leaders in Australia, intrigued as they were, could not figure out what to do with him. When Keshava, himself an old friend of Madhavisa, had written to him suggesting that Buddhimanta come to Australia to train the devotees how to distribute books, Madhavisa agreed. And now Buddhimanta was saying that in 3 months the bookshed would be empty. Devotees could scarcely conceive of the idea, but it seemed more than an empty challenge. Buddhimanta had been regularly selling hardcover books on the streets of Sydney for a couple of weeks now, and some devotees had been going out with him, scrutinizing his techniques. Buddhimanta was a unique individual, fair-skinned, celibate student, brahmachari. He towered well over 180 centimeters tall. Although humble and often thoughtful in the temple, on the street he was loud, gregarious, and utterly confident. There his demeanor was intense. He would stare people right in the eyes, not shifting his glance. And yet with his smiles, he would literally disarm people with his warmth and enthusiasm. Buddhimanta told the devotees that he had gotten his original experience of distributing literature as a youth in San Francisco. He had sold the Berkeley Barb, an avant-garde newspaper, and had developed his unique style. That style, coupled with Buddhimanta's unquenchable zest and enthusiasm to serve the order of his spiritual master, was infectious. Soon a close core of devotees began distributing 5, then 10 hardcover books each day on the streets of Sydney. As well as gradually emptying the storage shed, Sydney's book distribution revolution yielded other positive changes, specifically in the devotees' daily diet. Since the temple income had been meager, the devotees ate very austerely. Breakfast had consisted of boiled semolina porridge flavored with a little orange rind. Lunch was simple rice and vegetables. Buddhimanta changed all that. If devotees were going out and working hard all day, he reasoned they needed more substantial prasadam. So for a start, his book distribution party, now regularly distributing with Buddhimanta downtown, would eat a big hearty breakfast before, quote-unquote, hitting the streets. Yasamatyananda was one of the book distributors. I went to the Sydney reunion in 2012. It was 40 years since the installation of the Radha Gopinath deity, and saw many of those old friends of mine with whom we distributed books. Yasamatyananda was there, but he was in the last stages of a terminally ill disease, so he's weak, but he was always funny, still had a sense of humor, passed away a few weeks later. Buddhimanta's been gone now 7 or 8 years from a brain tumor. So grab onto these memories, because many of the people of whom they speak are no longer on the planet. But I'll never forget, one of the biggest boons of Buddhimanta coming to Australia, we didn't mind working hard as long as we got fed properly. And until he came, we were not being fed properly. So that was a great benediction, his coming. Higher sort of service and better quality food. So Yasamatyananda reminisces, Buddhimanta's breakfasts were memorable. One of them was pea cheese. He'd throw a kilo of cream cheese in a wok with 1 kilo of peas and half a kilo of butter. This was before veganism. Stir it in, add salt and pepper, and that was it. Pea cheese. Nyasamantinanda also remembers the Ekadasi version. Ekadasi's are 2 days a month when we abstain from grains. Those are the days that we fasted from peas. Instead of peas, he'd add cauliflower. And when the butter floated to the top, the cauliflower appeared to be swimming. So he called it cauliflower backstroke. This wasn't health food. It was Sankirtan food. Buddhimanta's philosophy was eat big, distribute big. As the books went out, money came in. The temple could not only now regularly remit money to Srila Prabhupada's Central Book Fund, the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, but it could also afford to pay for better standards of deity worship. Gradually, the standards of the temple increased. The deities were regularly offered more opulent meals, and in turn, the devotees ate more healthy, substantial prasadam. Win, 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 win. The books were going out, preaching was going on, and the consciousness of the devotees automatically improved. So that's that section, and we're going to have a little bit more about the book distribution phenomenon and some statements by some of the devotees that distributed in those days, along with Buddhimanta himself. Let's do a song now about trusting in God, having faith in Him, even though His ways are not our ways. And we want to achieve a certain result, and we can envision how that result will be achieved, and we have a timeline to achieve it. And when things don't happen in the way that we anticipated, and in the timetable that we had capriciously established, sometimes we get frustrated, we get disappointed, we're tempted to throw in the towel. But these are 3 songs back to back, which encourage us to keep our faith. Krishna's going to get us, as long as your dream is God-centered and unselfish. It got there because Krishna put it there, and He's not going to put a dream in your heart and then not bring it to pass. But we have to do our part. We have to work diligently, not worry, and leave the rest to Him. He's going to get you to where you need to go. And so this is a couple of songs about just trusting Him, not insisting that everything be revealed to you up front. If you could understand everything God was up to, He wouldn't be God. So that's the beauty of it. Lord moves in mysterious ways, His wonders to perform. He plants His footstep on the seas and rides upon the storm. Deep in unfathomable minds of never-failing skill, He treasures up His bright designs and works His never-failing will. Ye fearful saints, fresh courage take. The clouds you so much dread are full with mercy and will break, and blessings on your head. Judge not the Lord by feeble sense, but trust Him for His grace. Behind a frowning providence He hides a smiling face. His purposes will ripen fast, unfolding every hour. The bud may have a bitter taste, but sweet will be the flower. Blind unbelief is sure to err and scan His work in vain. God is His own interpreter, and He will make it plain. Lord moves in mysterious ways, His wonders to perform. He plants His footsteps on the sea and rides upon the storm. Deep in unfathomable minds of never-failing skill, He treasures up His bright designs and works His never-failing will. Ye fearful saints, fresh courage take. The clouds you so much dread are full with mercy and will break, and blessings on your head. My life is but a weaving between my Lord and me. I cannot choose the colors, but He worketh steadily. He often weeps sorrow, and I in foolish pride forget He sees the upper and I the underside. Not until the loom falls silent and the shuttle ceases to fly will Krishna unroll the canvas and reveal the reasons why. The dark threads are as needful in the weaver's skillful hand as are the threads of gold and silver in the pattern that He has planned. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. When we chant Hare Krishna, we're expressing our faith in Krishna or God and our trust in Him. Krishna's ways may twist and turn. My heart may throb and ache, but my soul has no concern, because He makes no mistake. My cherished hopes may go astray, my cherished plans may go astray, my hopes may fade away, but I'll still trust in Him to lead. Why? Because He knows the way. There's much I cannot see, my eyesight far too dim. But who am I to disagree? I'm just going to put my trust in Him. Though the night be dark and the light take forever to break, I'm going to pin my hopes in him, 'cause he makes no mistake. And by the mist will lift, and the foggy night will fade. And the rising sun will make it plain, he made not one mistake. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And this is the last song. This is a fourth song. Whenever you're tempted to question God, or shake your fist at him, or make some serious offenses, this is a poem written by William Bake about the raw power of God. So think twice before you call God to task for anything. Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night, what immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry? In what distant deeps or skies? On what wings dare he aspire? What the hand dare seize the fire? And what shoulder and what art could frame the sinews of thy heart? And when thy heart began to beat, what dread hand and what dread feet? What the hammer, what the chain? In what furnace was thy brain? What the anvil, what dread grasp dare thy deadly terrors clasp? When the stars threw down their spears and watered heaven with their tears, did he smile his work to see? Did he who made the lamb make thee? Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night, what immortal hand or eye dare frame thy fearful symmetry? In what distant deeps or skies burnt the fire of thine eyes? And what hand dare seize the fire? And what wings dare he aspire? And what shoulder and what art could frame the sinews of thy heart? And when thy heart began to beat, what dread hand and what dread feet? What the hammer, what the chain, in what furnace was thy brain? What the anvil, what dread grasp dare thy deadly terrors clasp? When the stars threw down their spears and watered heaven with their tears, did he smile his work to see? Did he who made the lamb make thee? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. A medley of songs encouraging us to place our trust in the Lord. Have plans, have ambitions, have goals, strategize, but then recognize that he's not going to do it according to your dictation. You don't snap your fingers and God responds. He'll do it. If it's a God-centered dream that he put in your heart, he will give you the means to work in such a way that it comes to pass. But you will not be able to second guess it. You have to work diligently and leave the results up to him. God gave us talents and abilities, and we're meant to use those to honor him. And that's what gives us joy in life. It's not the fruits. It's not the salary, the house, the car, the social position. All those things are just worrisome. They're bothersome. They don't give happiness. It's the satisfaction of a job well done for your beloved, who in the case of the devotee is Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. Someone who is particularly anointed to do a job honoring the Lord was a devotee named Buddhimanta, who came to us in Australia in 1973. Here's the ongoing story of Buddhimanta and the explosion of book distribution 47 years ago in the continent down under. Next, Buddhimanta traveled to Melbourne with a few men, leaving a trained corps of distributors in Sydney to carry on the program that he had started. Melbourne also had found themselves with a colossal book storage dilemma. A mountain of books gathered dust on the second floor of the downtown Hare Krishna shop. Amoga had recently received a shipment of 20,000 sets of the new paperback trilogy Krishna book. Hearing of Sydney's success, Melbourne devotees had attempted to sell them, but the biggest distributor was only able to sell 6 or 8 small books a day. Ganesh recollects, I had been going out with a cloth bag of Back to Godhead magazines and selling no more than 40 a day. The Friday that Buddhimanta arrived, my life changed. He packed 3 big boxes of Krishna paperback trilogies in the van. I couldn't figure out what we were going to do with them all. We lugged the heavy boxes onto Swanson Street, and I just stood there. Buddhimanta tore off the plastic straps, opened up all the boxes, and took a very big handful of each set. He placed them in a big stack up his arm and strode off into the crowd. He started approaching people as they walked past, grinning as he handed them all 3 volumes of the Krishna book at once. He spoke very fast in his broad Texan accent, one long sentence. "Excuse me, sir, we're passing out these books today. Have a look at them, have a read. They talk about Krishna, Supreme Personality of God, and spiritual life. Take them with you. Take them home as a gift. Chip in a little something to help out. Give a donation just to help cover the cost of printing." The amazing thing that people were happy to take them. And whereas I had formerly got 10, 20, maybe 50 cents at most for a Back to Guided magazine, people were handing Buddhimanta paper money. I followed his lead, and by the evening, those entire 3 boxes were empty. Although some devotees thought to imitate Buddhimanta's technique of book distribution, it was obvious that his pleasure in distributing Prabhupada's books was far beyond mundane euphoria. He was experiencing a taste far distinct from the happiness a young man might ordinarily experience by stumbling upon a sales technique and finding himself on the verge of making a lot of money. As Buddhimanta explained to his young trainees, book distribution was devotional service to Krishna. As such, it could produce an ecstasy that was transcendental, an ecstasy far beyond the greatest material happiness. There was no question, he said, of comparing ordinary business and the business of selling Krishna-conscious literature. They were as distinct from each other as material life was from spiritual life. Buddhimanta Prabhu pointed out that he saw the shoppers and business people whom he daily encountered in the street as being victims of the material energy. Living only for sensual and mental pleasure, they were bewildered and confused. The devotees naturally felt obligated to Prabhupada for his mercifully saving them from that sort of meaningless existence. Therefore, Buddhimanta argued they should now extend that mercy to others. And what better way to do it than by distributing Prabhupada's books? Enthusiasm for book distribution grew. Devotees felt a special taste in selling big books, especially Srimad Bhagavatams and Bhagavad Gitas. As Prabhupada had stated in his purport to chapter 3, verse 43 of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, quote, "Both the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam are like torchbearers for the blind people of this age." In other words, if men in this Kali Yuga want to see the real light of life, they must take to these 2 books only, and their aim of life will be fulfilled. Bhagavad Gita is the preliminary study of the Bhagavatam, and Srimad Bhagavatam is the summum bonum of life. Lord Sri Krishna personified. We must therefore accept Srimad Bhagavatam as the direct representation of Lord Krishna. One who can see Srimad Bhagavatam can also see Lord Sri Krishna in person. They are identical. And then after that quote, the narration by Korma continues. Traveling parties soon discovered that the suburbs and small rural towns were also good spots for book distribution. Sydney's outer suburb like Parramatta and Liverpool, as well as Melbourne's Param and Dandenong, and rural centers like Ballarat and Bendigo provided practically unlimited scope. As the huge stockpile of books reduced day by day, so proportionally the happiness of the book distributors increased. So next week we'll talk about the Rath Yatra Festival. I believe it was the 3rd or 4th Rath Yatra Festival that was held in Australia. Australia is down under, and so their summer is our winter, and our winter is their summer. So we started out having the Rath Yatra at the same time they observe it in India, which is July, but that's in the middle of winter. It was very cold. So by the time of next week's narration, the 3rd Rath Yatra, we got a little common sense, and we had the Rath Yatra in January, which is in the middle of summer down there. So that story we'll share with you next week. Right now we'll close our show with a song about the soul, talking about the difference between spiritual and material. Thought this would be a good note on which to close the 19th episode of the Krishna Lite Show. We'll have a little introductory music here, and when the drums start in, when the percussion start, we will launch into a song called When I Look Into Your Eyes. Again, I do this to keep sharp for the Festival of Colors. I'm the MC And I hope next season to be one of the main performers as well. With a Krishna conscious, spiritual, uplifting, restorative message like this one. When I look into your eyes, I see a shining soul. When I look into your eyes, I see a spirit soul. See a soul that's never born, a spark that never dies. Yearns to fly back home, back to the spiritual skies. Hare Krishna. From dust you come, to dust you go. Was not spoken of the soul. This body, like a set of clothes, wears out and gets disposed. Flame of light and love gives life to the machine. Candle never snuffed, subtle, sublime, unseen. For the soul there's no beginning, ending there's none. Smaller than the atom, brighter than the sun. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. When I look into your eyes, I see a shining soul. When I look into your eyes, I see a spirit soul. See a soul that's never born, a spark that never dies. Yearns to fly back home, back to the spiritual skies. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The inner soul continues when the outer body ends, like flame from wood, sparks ascending, transcending dark matter invisible to the eye, blending with the sky. You cannot kill nor can you die. You cannot burn nor can you fry. The soul cannot be scorched by any blaze. No water can drown the spirit. No wind can make it fade. You cannot cut another, nor can you bleed. Soul is eternal, unborn, a seed, indivisible, indestructible, forever free from birth, death, old age, and disease. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Yet howsoever turned or tossed, the soul can never itself exhaust. Seated in the heart, beating its drum, powering everyone, brighter than the sun. The soul's superior force lives on and runs its endless course in God's unlimited universe. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. As a cloud is seated on air, so spirit supports the flesh. Take away the living force, it's just chemicals lying there, a corpse, naked and bare. Not a twitch or wiggle, not a subtle wink or giggle. Can't tickle it or puzzle with a riddle. Deaf, blind, mute, dumb, numb. Can't ignore it, can't reward it, can't restore it. Deader than a doornail, stiffer than a board. Only thing to return it, burn it, bury it. Ash to ashes, dust to dust. Infirm body versus immortal soul. Learn the difference, conquer ignorance, make a spiritual choice. Sing out, give voice, rejoice, make some noise for the spiritual force. I say, you say, Hare. I say, Hare, you say Krishna. Hare, Hare. I say Krishna, you say Krishna. Krishna, Krishna. I say Hari, you say Hari. Hari, Hari. I say Hari, you say Rama. Hari, Hari. I say Rama, you say Rama. Rama, Rama. I say Hari, you say Hari. Hari. Now 2 words. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. As a cloud is seated on air, so spirit supports the flesh. Take away the living force, it's just chemicals lying there, a corpse naked and bare. Not a twitch or wiggle, not a subtle wink or giggle, can't tickle it or puzzle it with a riddle, deaf, blind, mute, dumb, numb. Can't reward it, can't restore it, can't ignore it. Deader than a doornail, stiffer than a board. Only thing to return it, burn it, bury it. Earth to earth, dust to dust, ash to ashes. Infirm body versus immortal soul. Learn the difference, conquer ignorance, make a spiritual choice, sing out, rejoice, give voice, make some noise for the spiritual force. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The inner soul continues when the outer body ends, like flame from wood, sparks ascending, transcending dark matter, blending with the sky, invisible to the naked eye. You cannot kill nor can you die, you cannot burn nor can you fry. The soul cannot be scorched by any blaze, no water can drown the spirit, no wind can make it fade. You cannot cut another nor can you bleed, the soul is eternal, unseen, unborn, transcendental, indivisible, forever free from birth, death, old age, and disease. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Yet howsoever turned or tossed, the soul can never itself exhaust. Seated in the heart, beating its drum, powering everyone, brighter than the sun. The soul's superior force lives on and runs its endless course in God's unlimited universe. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. When I look into your eyes, I see a shining soul. When I look into your eyes, I see a spirit soul. See a soul that's never born, a spark that never dies, yearns to fly back home, back to the spiritual sky. Flame of light and love gives life to the machine. Candle never snuffs, subtle, sublime, unseen. For the soul there's no beginning, ending there's none. Small in the atom, brighter than the sun. From dust you come, to dust you go, was not spoken of the soul. This body, like a set of clothes, wears out and gets disposed. When I look in your eyes, I see a shining soul. When I look in your eyes, I see a spirit soul. See a soul that's never born, a spark that never dies, yearns to fly back home, back to the spiritual skies. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. I'm feeling pretty good, on a roll, and we're a little early today. So how about I throw in one more song? And this is about the power of the holy name, as explained by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 500 years ago in his Shiksha Stakam. It's 8 verses. This is the Caru version. Chanting the holy names cleanses the heart, extinguishes the flames, breaks the chains, blesses the earth at large with moon-like rays, discharging waves of nectar our senses been craving since ancient days. The holy names put all of their blessings to shame. Krishna, Govinda, chanted anywhere, everywhere. The mercy Shakti is fully there. It's a divine app to restart your mental software. Zap the malware, restart your heart, tap the reservoir of loving care. No hard and fast rules, no lessons, no schools. The bliss of bhakti, rare yet free for the taking. Only declare your heart is aching in divine love, awakening. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Day and night with constant recitation, chant the holy name without hesitation, free from temptation, with the sensation of feeling yourself lower than the straw in the street, more tolerant than the tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige. Humility is the key to enjoy the vibration eternally. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Wealth in the millions, beautiful women, the spell of fame, worldly acclaim, even liberation, hey, totally lame compared to the champagne, chanting the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Govinda, son of Nanda, though you're the one, second to none, my shining sun. I'm heartbroken in the ocean of birth and death. It's not worth the commotion. Pull me out of this cruel blender, surrenders an atom in the sweet splendor of your tender lotus feet. Lord, when my eyes pour with tears of love like rain from the skies above, when my voice choke up invoking your name, when in transcendence my bodily hairs stand on end. Though a moment appears like 12 years or more when you're not here, I've only proclaimed your name and I'm smiling again. Even if it restrain me, rough in your embrace, or pain me by hiding your face, you remain my Lord, my worshipful Lord, unconditionally. In rain or shine, decline or gain, I am always yours and you are mine. Even though you restrain me, rough in your embrace, or pain me by hiding your face, you remain my Lord unconditionally, no matter what the difficulty, decline or gain, rain or shine, I am yours and you are mine. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That wraps it up. 3 rap songs with a bonus song there, and the story of the great late Buddhimanta, the book distribution avatar who lit up Australia. Next week we'll be back with stories of Rath Yatra and other adventures down under. Until we meet again, don't forget to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.